Round 2 of the NBA playoffs start in just under 5 hours. We had 3 dramatic Game 7s this weekend to wrap up round 1, and we'll get to all of that in just a moment. But first, Sixers, Knicks, Timberwolves, Spurs will get the conference semis started, and Shams has the latest. Senior insider, Shams Charania with me now. And the first question of the day, Shams, what is Anthony Edwards' status for Game 1 in San Antonio?
George, this just in, Anthony Edwards has received medical clearance and is expected to play tonight in Game 1 against the San Antonio Spurs, barring any setback in his pregame warm-ups. He's been pushing and really planning on trying to give this a go in Game 1 tonight. He's made unforeseen progress in the last 24 hours. He did most of everything in shoot-around this morning in San Antonio. He's medically checking all the boxes, and Timberwolves doctors will monitor his pregame routine and then give him the final sign-off. But just 9 days after suffering that bone bruise and hyperextension in his left knee, and the team believing that at the earliest he would be back Game 3 or Game 4, he pushed and really wanted to go tonight. I'm told he did multiple different treatment options, including the hyperbaric chamber over the last several days to try to see if he can get back. So Anthony Edwards will go through his pregame warm-ups tonight with the intention of playing as this season tips off.
Wow, great
Series
stuff.
tips off, I should say.
Yep. Thank you, Shams. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the information. All right, we are here in studio alongside Brian Windhorst, Janelle Gumake, and Danny Green. I'm George Sedano in for Malika. Brian, we'll start with you. How big a development is this?
I mean, I've seen Ant Edwards recover from like rolled ankles and stuff like that, and I've been like, wow, I can't believe it. But unexpected progress. You don't hear that about a knee injury too often. And not only is it a huge lift for just the overall psyche of the Wolves, who weren't sure they were going to have him for Game 1, it's a huge strategic move because Ant Edwards has given the Spurs all kinds of trouble this year. He has dominated at times against them. Now, look, I don't want to overreact to regular season games, but look at those numbers.
Yeah.
And so the Spurs, I'm sure, knew they were going to have to deal with Ant at some point. I'm sure they're reevaluating their game plan a little bit right now, knowing they got to deal with him right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I said, he's like Wolverine, the way he's healing. I didn't expect him to come back this soon. But this is more, I think, of a mental and emotional lift for this group, if anything. He may be a little hobbled out there. How much his pain tolerance he can, handle. We may not see a full health, but at least he's a threat out there. It opens up the floor for everybody else that can hoop. But this is a big, big plus for this group, and that's going on against a big, like a challenging San Antonio Spurs team.
I don't know. I feel like we're underselling this. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. Going into the matchup without Anthony Edwards, we're like, oh, the Spurs probably are expected to win, right? Because it's not just him, it's Dante DiVincenzo, and they've been getting huge performances from the supporting cast, from the role players. But walking into a series knowing that man is available is a game changer for me. Yeah. And you talk about him being hobbled. We saw when he was hobbled versus the Denver Nuggets. Yeah. Isn't that where he went off?
Yeah.
So even a not 100% Anthony Edwards is capable of shocking us in a huge way. To me, when you looked at this, I was like, okay, the Spurs are ahead. Now it's like getting super leveled.
Yeah, I think we're not underselling it. Ant is great, but I think even with a healthy Anthony Edwards, we're just looking at how different the San Antonio Spurs are to the Denver Nuggets.
Wait, but this is a Minnesota team that has been to 2 conference finals. This isn't the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah. And this was a huge opportunity for the supporting cast to step up, and they've done exactly that and then some. Jayden McDaniels coming off of a 30-plus point game. I know Ayo Dosunmu was probably questionable. He had a 40-point game in the series. Terrence Shannon was dunking on everybody. Like, everyone's confidence is high, and then now you reinsert the superstar. It changes a lot for me.
I think it's a real series now, for sure, when you look at the fact that Anthony is going to be healthy. But, all right, we'll get back to that.
On SportsCenter, less than 24 hours after Orlando's Game 7 loss to Detroit, the Magic firing head coach Jamal Mosley. Mosley led Orlando through a rebuild and to the playoffs each of the past 3 years, but failed to make it out of the first round. The Magic were expected to be among the East's top teams this season, but battled injuries and got into the postseason through the play-in. Now, in the Mosley era in Orlando, the Magic sat at the bottom of the league in 3-point field goals made per game. They ranked 24th in the regular season this year after finishing last over the previous 2 seasons. And more breaking news. The Mavericks are already in their rebuilding phase, but now have a new architect. Dallas announcing today has hired former Raptors and Nuggets executive Masai Ujiri to be the Mavs' new president. Ujiri stepping into the role left open by the firing of Nico Harrison earlier this season. We have 2 game 1s tipping off tonight. The Knicks hosting the 76ers and the Spurs hosting the Timberwolves. And we've got you covered on both games with everything you need to know at 2 p.m. Eastern. Look at this lineup. Anthony Slater with the Timberwolves, Janae Agumake in L.A., Vinny Goodwill covering the Knicks, Tim Bontemps with the Sixers. But let us start in Minnesota. And this is new on SportsCenter. Anthony Edwards at shoot-around today. The Wolves closing out their first-round series against Denver without Edwards, but might get him back tonight. He is listed as questionable for Game 1 against the Spurs after suffering a knee injury that was expected to sideline him multiple weeks. Instead, Ant may end up missing just 2 games if he suits up in San Antonio tonight. NBA reporter Anthony Slater joining us now live. Anthony, you were just at Wolves shoot-around. What's the latest on Anthony Edwards and his status for tonight?
Yeah, Anthony Edwards was out here a couple hours ago. And when we walked in, where reporters were let in, he was putting a sleeve on his left, injured knee. And then after that, he got out and he took some, normal, I guess, rhythm jumpers. I saw him doing a couple like one dribble step back type moves, maybe testing that knee a little bit. This is a urgent, rushed moment for Edwards on the knee. It was 9 days ago. You probably remember the video of how it bent backwards, hyperextended bone bruise. This is very much on the front end of a theoretical recovery time. But as Julius Randle said this morning, he calls him Wolverine for a reason. This guy heals very quickly. I think it's a little stunning to a lot of people that it might be Game 1. But I think even if it's not tonight, what the Spurs now know is they are going to see Anthony Edwards in this series, and probably pretty soon.
That is an appropriate nickname, Wolverine. The Wolves, by the way, 15-10 without Edwards in the lineup this season. We'll see if he can go tonight. Anthony, thank you so much for the insight. We appreciate you. Let's bring Janae Agumake into the conversation. Janae, if Ant is able to go, what will you be watching closely in Minnesota's offense?
I feel like 99.9999% of the world will be watching Anthony Edwards. I'm a little different. I'm the 0.0001 where I actually want to go deep cut and watch the supporting cast, watch the stars in their roles, because they have been showing out over the course of this entire playoffs. Jayden McDaniels, that man right there, wanted the smoke, and he delivered. Last game, he had 32 points. Terrence Shannon, a revelation coming in, dropping 24 points in that Game 6 game. And then, of course, questionable, but probably optimistic at this point, hopefully, based off of what we're hearing from the Timberwolves, Ayo Dosunmu, who had 40-plus in the series in one game, him having an impact. The supporting cast, will their momentum continue alongside Anthony Edwards, or is it more going to be like Anthony Edwards is available and we'll see the impact of him being reinserted into the lineup? I'm going to watch the supporting cast because they have been the heart and soul of what the Timberwolves have done, and it'll be cool to see if that they can get all together playing their best version of basketball to really compete against the Spurs squad.
Okay, Janae, you stay.